Vintage Story 1.22 is here, and you can use this cool new fishing rod to catch yummy fish, then take one or two of those fish and put them on the wall. There are new mechanical devices that not only look great, but also allow you to do this action with this cool sound. Let's jump in and see all the newness in 1.22. Funding for this video is provided by viewers like you. The Vintage Story devs have delivered a giant update again. The list of additions, changes, and fixes is huge. I will not be covering all the changes, just the ones that caught my fancy. Here they are, in no particular order. I think it would be fair to call 1.22 the Big Fish update. There are 20 new fish scattered throughout the world. Unlike in previous versions of the game, fish will now only spawn in bigger bodies of water. Oh, and guess what? Some of these new fish bite. Yikes. The way in which fish interact with the environment has also been updated. When attacking a fish, they will no longer idly stand by and be hit. Instead, they'll run for their lives. If you're lucky enough to kill a fish, they'll no longer sink to the bottom, but instead float to the top. The better way to catch a fish is the new fishing pole. It's crafted with either a stick or bamboo. You do not need bait to catch a fish, although it will make the process much faster. Early bait in the game consists of worms. You'll use a grunter. Yes, you heard me right. Using the grunter and a stick, you can coax the worms to the surface. The grunter and its sound are pure joy. There are more advanced baits to craft and use as you progress through the game. More on those in another video. The way you cook fish has changed a bit. You have two options. You can cook the fish whole on a fire pit or cut it with a knife into fillets. Additionally, you can still add fish to stews in a cook pot. Fishing's a big change to the start of the game. I've already done a couple of fishing-only starts. It's possible to survive solely eating fish, but that's just about all you're gonna do. The berry bushes in the game have been completely reworked. The old models are gone and the new versions have a more shrub-like look. Oh, and when you walk through them, you're slowed considerably. Nice touch. There are new ground berries as well, cloudberries, cranberries, and strawberries. Give me all the berries! The most significant change, you can no longer just punch a bush out of the ground and take it back to your house. You will now need to take a cutting with a knife. This works just like with the trees in the game. When planting, it'll take between 4 to 8 months for the cutting to mature into a new berry bush. When a berry bush is fully grown, it will now require fertilization. Yep, if you don't feed your berry bush, it'll stop bearing fruit. I love this addition. Lastly, they've added new traits to berry bushes. There are 8 rare traits, 4 positive and 4 negative, each having a chance to appear on any berry bush. I'm excited about these changes to berries. It adds a bit more depth and, of course, in true Vintage Story manner, more challenge. The Forge has received an update to not only its look, but also its use. There are new processes involved in metalworking that add a more realistic feel to working with metal. Key to the Forge's rework is the addition of the bellows. There are 3 types. At the top of the page is a link to a video I did showing off all 3. These, of course, help in the achieving of higher temps needed for some metalworking. Also, they produce one of the best new sounds in the game. Just listen. The fuel you'll use will determine the heating temperature and duration. Does this mean I'll actually go looking for black coal now? Tongs now have durability and can be made from metal. There's been a lot of chatter about this change. I'm all for it. Fancy tongs, please. You can now improve the power and durability of tool heads using the new quenching and tempering system. The quenching is done in barrels or bodies of water. The method involves covering or not covering the head of the tool in clay, which in turn will increase the durability or power value. Full guide coming soon. There's a cool new grinding wheel. It also produces a great sound when being used. The wheel is used to sharpen weapons. This sharpening buff will add critical hit chance. Look out, mole men. The mechanical power in the game received a new addition and a couple of updates. Let's start with the amazing water wheel. Those who have watched my live streams have seen me testing the water wheel live. The model for the water wheel looks great, and it's fun to build. You'll need to find the new rapid water block to place the wheel, which I think is a bigger challenge than building the wheel itself. I love the option for more mechanical power, and I'm excited for the addition of rivers to make this more common. There's now an additional windmill size. The large windmill takes a higher level metal to construct, so it's not really an option in the early game. But I'm guessing with the additional power that it generates, it'll be worth the upgrade as you're making your 100th iron plate. Traders have received a massive update. All trader NPCs receive new skins and faces. They look so good now. They're also dressed to match the climate where they're located. Trader outposts have also been completely redone. It's such a big change. I had no idea how boring the old traders were until I saw these new outposts. Amazing work. I like the ones in the water. Lastly, they fixed a bug that used to drive me zany. Traders will no longer walk away during conversations. Thank you. Those are a few of the big changes in 1.22. Now I want to share a list of the smaller tweaks and changes I found exciting in this update. Let's take a look. Want to make your new sailboat a bit more personal? Now you can chisel the figurehead of your dreams right on the front of your sailboat. I'm not the greatest chiseler, but I do love this addition. Now we just need the ability to customize the sails or maybe add some cool flags. The oil lamp has received a complete overhaul. No longer are you just slapping some fat in a bowl. You'll now need to craft oil lamps from clay, fire them in a pit kiln, and add rendered fat. I thought this change would be harder and maybe a bit more tedious, but honestly, I love it. Sticking with lighting, there's a new small lantern. Yep, a smaller footprint, and it generates a bit less light. I welcome new light options. Keep them coming. Oh, and with this change, they've rebalanced the material cost of large lanterns. It now costs twice the glass and metal. Pie's got a much-needed addition. You can now mix meat and veggies to make a proper pot pie. I would love to see the ability to mix anything and everything in a pie. Also, I laughed when I read this. Ovens now no longer allow the ignition of non-fuel, such as pies. I had no idea you could light an oven with a pie. Did you? I have always enjoyed the way glass looked in the game, but I must say the new glass texture is perfect. The new blocks have a smaller frame, and all glass now has textured glass reflections. Fancy. The sleek wooden doors have also received a bit of an update. They now have a glass pane and a smoother and more bespoke texture. I really need to use these doors more often. They're so good looking. Those of you looking for a more homey feel, good news, you can craft cabinets with and without glass doors now. These new showcases allow you to store everything from books and clothing to chiseled figurines and all previously stored items. You can even mix and match items as well. What will you store in your first cabinet? Animals got a bunch of little tweaks and fixes. Pigs and sheep will no longer stand around idle waiting for you to fence them in. They'll now run away from the player or attack the player if you get too close. They updated both the bear and pig models. The bear is a subtle change, but the pigs just look scary now, right? They've updated the bear and wolf footstep noises so you can hear them coming. I've played a bit of 1.22 and can confirm they still sneak up on me. Lastly, they fixed the animals not eating planted crops. I feel like this has not worked for a while. I can confirm they will show up and eat your whole field. Build a good fence. There are some new farmable crops and flowers in 1.22. Fennel and licorice have been added for the use in making fish bait. There's also some new flowers as well, including bluebells, mugworts, ghost pipes, and daffodils. Yes to more flora and fauna, please. Additionally, they added 8 new varieties of mushrooms. A couple of these mushrooms now have the chance to take you on a wild ride. When eaten, you'll see a visual side effect. It's so trippy. I've eaten a couple of these on accident and had to sit down and write it out. Love this. All grain crops in the game now have half the yield in grain and fiber, but don't fret, they now spawn in larger patches in the wild during world generation. I can confirm there's a lot more grain out there now. I'm interested to see how this will affect the balance of the game. Time will tell, but I welcome this change. Oils have now been added to the game. There's a great mod that's let us experiment with oils in the past, and now we have linseed, olive, and fat oils in the base game. Raw fat can now spoil and can be cooked into rendered fat. I'm excited about this addition and what it'll mean for future cooking and building. I guess horsetails no longer qualify as bee or butterfly feed. I had no idea you could use horsetail. Another thing I learned too late. There's a new crowbar tool. I'm going to let you know right now, it's amazing. No more trying to find the end or a connection point on a beam only then to knock something else off. The crowbar makes beam removal a snap. There are a couple of tool additions and updates. Spears can now be made from iron and steel. The spear models got a new coat of paint and they look great. They've updated the iron and steel pickaxe models as well. Honestly, from what I can tell, all tool and weapon heads got a bit of a brush up. Am I seeing this right? Just in case you're looking for some extra challenge, you can now craft a steel anvil. This is some next level vintage story play right here. The collapsed chests in ruins now fall apart into chest rubble once they are emptied. As I've talked about in the past, I really want this to be the opposite. Why again can't I place things in a chest in a ruin? There are new craftable clay tiles in all standard clay colors. These tiles can be crafted into blocks and slabs. Speaking of clay, there's a new earthy orange ceramic color for pit kilned red clay items. I'm so glad this has been added to the game. It's nice to fire something in red clay and then have a reddish item come out from the pit kiln. This one was not working the last time I tested it, but it is now. All held bags that are placed on the ground can now be accessed. Not sure the use for this one yet, but I guess off the top of my head, more storage on the ground. The next addition is so useful, especially for new players. Now, when hovering over or grabbing wearable items in your bag, it will highlight the proper slot for where that item goes on your character screen. Neat. The first time I read this one, I was like, what? When adding a waypoint on a map, the Add Waypoint dialog now remembers previous waypoint names. So, mark clay with the icon and color once, and then when you do it again with the same combo, it will give you clay in the dialog box. I get it now. So useful. Cattail roots take time to punch out of the ground. Good news, you can now use a shovel to dig them out faster. The fire pit will no longer reset the temperature of the input stack. I never understood why it would start over when it had already heated the stack. Such a great change. Only one drawback. The stack's warm-up time is now longer for larger stack sizes. I've tested it. It's much, much longer. Starting a fire for the first time and don't want to keep the fire starter around? Good news! You can now burn it in the fire pit. I've always wanted to harness the sun's power in my hands. Now you can. They added a creative mode pocket sun. Caution, it's very hot. There were many under-the-hood improvements to the game. The one that stood out to me, improving load times with many mods installed. You know, moreover, the game feels faster to load. Anyone who knows me knows I've been pining for a snow shovel in Vintage Story for years. Well, my wish has come true in 1.22, and let me say, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. I saved this one for last, as it's a work in progress. There are now fully dynamic dungeons that will spawn in survival mode. These dungeons will appear far apart from each other, roughly around 1,500 blocks. I explored these in the last playtest, and I'm so excited to see these develop over the next couple of patches. More adventure! There you have it, Vintage Story 1.22 in all of its glory. Make sure to check out my other Vintage Story update video with additional items not covered in this video, linked in the description. Okay, what did I miss? What are you excited about for this update? Share your thoughts with me in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. The video's over. Now it's time for you to do your part. Follow, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.